Previously on the Shadowbound Chronicles, I discovered I could manipulate shadows, met a mysterious protector named Darian, and learned I'm something called a bridgewalker. Oh, and I accidentally traveled to another dimension. You know, typical Tuesday stuff. But if I thought finding out I had magical powers was overwhelming, I was about to learn that was just the beginning. Because in the Shadowlands, everyone wanted to meet the girl who could supposedly save or destroy both worlds. The Shadow Council chamber was like something out of a fever dream. 5 platforms of black crystal floated around a central dais, each one holding a figure that looked older than time itself. Honored elders, I present Chen, the bridgewalker. Step forward, child. Let us see what the prophecy has brought us. Vera was the first to speak. Her voice carried the weight of centuries, and her silver hair seemed to move like liquid shadow. She felt safe somehow, like the grandmother I'd never had. Hi. I'm still not really sure what a bridgewalker is, or why everyone thinks I'm so important. Bah! She's just a child. How can someone who can barely control her own shadows unite our worlds? Thorn was clearly the skeptic of the group. Built like a mountain with a beard that seemed to absorb light, he looked at me like I was a particularly disappointing homework assignment. Patience, old friend. Power often comes in unexpected packages. Ooh, is this her? The bridgewalker? She's smaller than I imagined. That's when I met Echo. About the size of a house cat but floating and glowing with soft purple light, she zipped around the chamber like an excited fairy. Can you really walk between worlds? Can you teach me? I've always wanted to see the light realm. Honestly, I have no idea how I did it. It just sort of happened when I was scared. Fear is often the key that unlocks our deepest abilities. But raw power without control is dangerous, child. You need training. And so began the most intense crash course of my life. Shadow Weaving 101. With Professor Vera. Feel the shadows, Kira. They're not tools to be used, but partners to be respected. Ask, don't command. I don't get it. Sometimes they listen, sometimes they don't, because you're fighting them. Shadows respond to emotion, not force. Try again, but this time, think of something that makes you feel safe. I thought of my mom reading to me when I was little. Her voice soft and warm. The shadows around me immediately responded, weaving into gentle patterns like living silk. Shadow walking is different from what brought you here. That was raw power. This is technique. What's the difference? One is like being hit by lightning. The other is like learning to conduct electricity. Step into that shadow there. I stepped into the shadow of a floating crystal and emerged from behind Darian 20 feet away. It felt like stepping through cool water. That was amazing. Can I go anywhere? Within the Shadowlands, yes. Between worlds, that requires much more energy. And there's always a cost. What kind of cost? Show her, Darian. Show her what happened to the last bridgewalker. Her name was Lyra. She was about your age when her powers manifested, 50 years ago. The air around us shimmered, and suddenly I could see her, a girl with dark hair and eyes like mine, standing between armies of light and shadow. She tried to unite the realms by force, to bridge them permanently. The power required. It consumed her. She became a conduit for so much energy that she simply burned out. Her sacrifice created the current barrier between worlds. Is that what's going to happen to me? Not if we teach you control. Not if you learn from her mistakes. The question is, are you willing to risk everything? Because that's what being the bridgewalker means. I looked around at these ancient beings who had seen empires rise and fall, who had watched a girl like me die trying to save everyone. And I realized that all my training, all this power, it was just preparation for an impossible choice. Everyone. Lightkeepers are attacking the Whispering Grove. They're trying to capture the shadow sprites. This is your first real test, Kira. Those sprites are innocents. They've never harmed anyone. What do I need to do? We'll handle the Lightkeepers. Your job is to get the sprites to safety. Can you open a shadow portal large enough for all of them? I'd barely mastered moving myself through shadows, and now they wanted me to evacuate dozens of magical creatures? I'll try. Secure the shadow spawn. They're corrupting the natural order. The grove was chaos. Lightkeepers in golden armor were trying to capture creatures that looked like floating wisps of starlight. The sprites were terrified, their gentle glow flickering like dying candles. Hey, it's okay. I'm here to help. I need you all to come to me quickly. I reached deep into the shadows around us, asking them to help, to open a way home. The darkness responded, creating a portal bigger than any I'd made before. Thank you, Bridgewalker. Thank you. You, the Bridgewalker. You're making this worse by protecting them. I'm protecting innocent creatures from being captured. How does that make anything worse? Because shadows corrupt everything they touch. You'll learn that soon enough. You did well today, child. You saved dozens of lives. But Gabriel said I was making things worse. What if he's right? Gabriel sees only what he wants to see. But you saw creatures in need of help. That's what makes you different. The sprites are singing songs about you now. They're calling you the Shadow Friend. As I listened to their praise, I felt something shifting inside me. Not just my powers, but my understanding of what it meant to be caught between light and shadow. There's something else you need to know, Kira. About your parents. What about them? They know about your heritage. They've known all along. My parents? My normal, boring, ordinary parents knew I was some kind of magical bridgewalker. Your mother was once a Lightkeeper, Kira. And your father? He was one of us. That's impossible. Tomorrow, we return you to your world. It's time you had some answers. As I fell asleep in the Shadowlands that night, floating on a bed made of crystallized moonlight, I realized my real journey was just beginning. Because if my parents had been keeping secrets this big, what else hadn't they told me? Next time on the Shadowbound Chronicles, I confront my parents about their magical past. Gabriel makes an unexpected offer, and I discover that some family secrets are kept for very good reasons. Because when you can walk between worlds, sometimes the hardest journey is the one back home.